They've spotted 2 sets of tracks.
Tonight we go along with an elite squad, Native American trackers on the trail of smugglers in Arizona.
Narcotics. Oh, good boy.
If that's not alerting, I don't know what is.
We'll go live to scene on the border in just a couple of minutes. But first, breaking news from Casa Grande tonight. The Pinal County Sheriff is still trying to connect the dots after a deputy claims that smugglers shot him in the desert last week. CBS 5's Sarah Buttison is there live right now. Sarah?
Catherine, they just wrapped up the news conference tonight. Sheriff Paul Babu says he wants to be transparent about the shooting that happened last Friday and said he wants to clarify any misinformation about that shooting. Tonight, that included releasing the calls Deputy Louis Pearl made for help after he was shot.
Okay, all right, Louis, are you okay?
Hell no, I'm not okay. I've been shot. Tell him to hurry up.
The Sheriff's Department also released pictures tonight of Louis Pearl's gunshot wound. They say it is just luck that he was not hurt worse. Detectives also took time at a news conference tonight to update us on the investigation. They say they've detained 4 people they think may have been involved in Deputy Pearl's shooting. They say they're not certain, but they say they have detained 4 people they describe as investigative leads. 3 other people they've detained, they say, are victims of the same group of smugglers that Deputy Pearl was tracking when he was shot last Friday. Sheriff Paul Babu also took the opportunity to talk about the fact that in the area where Deputy Pearl was shot last Friday, there has been growing violence, and he says things are getting out of control.
This has reached a proportion in our county of violence, of pursuits, of armed threat, that we need help, and we believe that we need 3,000 soldiers deployed to our border.
The sheriff also said that tomorrow his department is going to meet to review how things went during last Friday's shooting. He says it took more than an hour to get a helicopter into the area to search for Deputy Pearl. He says that's unacceptable, and they want to look at ways to prevent that from happening in the future. He also said that the 10 agencies that were involved in the search for the suspects on Friday and in assisting the Pinal County Sheriff's Department are all going to meet on Thursday, and they're going to discuss their response to the shooting. Live in Casa Grande, Sarah Buttison, CBS 5 News.
Anxious to hear what comes from that. Sarah, thank you. Well, you just heard a snippet of that radio traffic from when Deputy Louis Pearl hid hunkered down in the desert calling for help. It's intense, and tonight you're about to hear more from Pearl as he fights for his life. Shots ring out as the people Deputy Pearl is tracking through the desert turn and open fire.
I'm taking fire. Give me some help. Send Ranger. Hey.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been hit. I've been hit.
Quickly, Pearl realizes who he is fighting and that he needs to hide.
There's at least 2 guys with AKs. I may have got one of them, but I can't tell. I got to get off the phone and shut up. I'm in the breath all around me. I'm going to stay here unless I have to move.
And as you can hear, he's not sure he's going to make it out alive.
Hey, Car 1, how are you, bud?
Yeah, my wife, I love her.
But soon, help arrives.
Louis, I have deputies in the area looking for you. Can you turn on they have their sirens on. Let me know if you hear them, okay?
And Deputy Pearl is able to guide them into where he's hiding.
I'm on top of the mountain, straight south of the truck stop, in the saddle.
Is dangerous enough. Still ahead tonight, we go along with an elite group that does it all the time, relying on the tracking skills of their ancestors. Hunting with the shadow wolves coming up in less than 9 minutes.
A radio team from Los Angeles broadcast live from the Arizona State Capitol today. They urged everyone not to boycott. Well, today they will walk north to Washington, then west all the way to the state capitol. Well, you have been telling us loud and clear that you want to see all sides of this immigration debate. And just east of here, one Arizona rancher actually shares his southern border with Mexico. And he deals with this issue on his front doorstep each and every day. So tonight, here's what he deals with in his own words.
I could spend all day long fixing fence, and the next day it'd be cut again. My name's John Ladd, and I'm a rancher in southeastern Arizona on the Mexican border. My family homesteaded here in 1896. Well, ranching isn't the most lucrative profession anymore, but you get to be outside every day and working with animals. The cows are constantly being scared out of different little pastures they're supposed to be grazing in. It's a constant deluge of people coming through the ranch. This big tree is a landmark for them to sit and look at the highway and wait for their ride. I still haven't figured out how come that, it's just all of this is typically it's all full of women's underwear. I don't know what that is. But that's the biggest problem, what is it? Every rancher that I know is just trying to pick up all this stuff, but between fixing fences, picking up trash, fixing water lines, there just isn't any time to be a rancher anymore. This ranch is unique because our southern boundary is the border. Border Patrol has the road along the border. Kind of quiet down around the house the last 3 days. Think that bill had anything to do with anything?
Oh, maybe.
You can have, an agent every half a mile on the border, and that's going to help, but that isn't going to solve the problem. But until the law is honored and both countries enforce their laws, it isn't going to change. If they come around the house, we'll give them a drink of water, but I'm not going to be the good guy anymore, because that's going to get me killed. I don't come out on the ranch at dark anymore. We're not going to leave, and my kids are all going to stay, and so hopefully we can continue ranching without being fearful of what's going to happen to us every day.
And our thanks to photojournalist Chris Chambers for his work on that story. Now, how high-tech are these illegal crossers on his ranch? Well, part of the trash that John finds each and every day are these, commonly known as throwaway cell phones. And he says with the current manpower that the federal government has on the border, he fears that the problem will only get worse. Well, on